Hello, I thought I'd do a little tutorial today. I don't know if you've looked around these websites for 3D printing, creating models and AI, but they all seem to charge a subscription, monthly fee, or a pay at the time price. There are ways of doing things for free. Today I'm going to show you how I make fridge magnets completely free. You can use this for normal models as well, not just fridge magnets. So I start with ChatGPT and I type in here something such as cute llama for colour, if I can spell, for 3D print. Now it'll take you a while, as you'd expect, but it should come up with something that's restricted to 4 colours, although sometimes it doesn't include white, so you may have to repaint that a different colour. We'll just see what it comes up with now. And then basically what we do is we take it over to Maker Lab and we make it into a proper 3D model, and then we'll take it over to Bamboo Lab, Bamboo Studio. You can do it in Orcheslizer as well, anything else. And we will make it flat and we will add some indents for magnets. Now on the subject of magnets, you have to pause the print at the right place. Oh, look at that llama. Why is it including all that underneath? I don't know. Let's just try. And finally, there we are. I only want the front facing image. Okay. Then what we need to do is we need to download that. Is that downloaded? Download. Okay. And then we need to go over to Maker Lab. And this application here, image to 3D model. As you can see, I've been playing around with all sorts at the bottom there, including my dog. Let's just bring that over. There we have it. Now what this will do is it will make it 3D based on that image. Doesn't really matter what the back looks like, whether it gives it 6 legs, because we're going to be chopping the front off anyway for you to be used as the magnet in this instance. Now this also takes some time, so I will time lapse this part. And it's done. That took a couple of minutes. Now, let's see how well it's done this. Actually, that's from just the front view there. You can't complain at that. That's perfect, isn't it? A little bit squat, a little bit stubby, but that's pretty good AI to do that. Okay, now what we need to do, we need to export that as a 3MF so it retains all the colours. So you select your printer at the top, your nozzle size. As I say, this is designed for bamboo printers, but you can do it with others just the same. You can still open 3MF files. Okay, your nozzle size for some reason. Confirm. Model export in progress. I don't think this takes too long. Now, as I said, when you open this in Bamboo, I didn't check actually, or in your studio or your slicer software, you'll need to check on the white because I don't think it counts as a colour. So if you're only doing 4 colours, you may need to take one of the other colours, such as the fur of the llama, and apply it to the eyes if they're white, for example. But we'll see in a second. Here we go. Download 3MF. I'm not sure what these are for. You can increase the number of colours if you wanted to here, I think. Okay, that's downloaded. Now we need to go to the studio. You can see all the nonsense I've been printing recently there. Open project. Select the file you've just done. You've just saved. there she is. Now I think, yeah, it's done the eyes in the same colour, which is this cream colour here. But I could manually repaint this, which wouldn't take too long to make it 4 colours. But I'm just going to skip that for the purposes of the video. I'll just ignore that it's not 4 colours because it doesn't matter at the moment to show you what's what. Basically, you see how many colours are available there. If you ask ChatGPT to make your model in 4 colours, that's what it would do. So you wouldn't have all these pretty little decorations. Okay, what we need to do next. Let me get this right. We've got to get this the right way around, because if we don't, it removes the colours. And you also can't cut the model. See, it would be easy just to cut it in half to make a flat face for the magnet, but that removes all colouring, so we don't want to do that. There's a slightly more complicated way. You might know a better way. If you do, please write it in the comments. But what I do is I will now rotate the model until it's at 90 degrees. I will then lower it into the build plate to where I would like the magnet, the back of the model to be. I'm just looking at the hooves now and the ears. Probably about there. And I can put the magnets here and here, maybe. Okay. Then what you need to do is you need to add a modifier. Sorry, add a negative part. Cylinder. Now that cylinder, you need to know the size of your magnets. Mine is 6mm. So what I would do is I then resize the cylinder to be 6.4, just so it's got some space to slide in. And that's uniform, so it will change all the dimensions. And take the uniform off. Now Z is the vertical height, so I'd only want that to be, the magnets are 3mm tall, so I would say 3.2, just so it covers over the top. There. Now, what I would do is, this is where it gets a bit tricky. You need to move the cylinder to where you want it to be on the model, such as there. Duplicate it, Control C, Control V, copy and paste. And as you can see, you've got 2 cylinders here now. So if you click on the other one, you can move that one up into the head area. Now there's one more important step. Oh, it's popped out. It's popped off the build plate. That's fine. You can see the magnets are still in place, but they're hovering. So the magnets, the cylinders, you need to move to just above the bottom of the build plate. If you level this out like that, you can see it better. But there needs to be enough room for a couple of layers of print to cover it up. So you see it's just slightly above the build plate there. That's what we need to do with both of them. Like so, just above the build plate. And then we can move the model back down again to where we wanted it, which was about there, I believe. Okay, just reading through my notes to make sure I've done it properly. Position the magnet holes over the model, a couple of layers over the build plate. Select preview. Now that should slice the model, and I'll show you in a second where the magnets will be. Okay, you can see it sliced it there. It will completely ignore what's below the build plate. So that's the model. So that would be the front of our llama. Now, as you can see, look at all those colours it's chosen there. As you can see, if we select by layer, we scroll down through the layers, you will see the magnet holes. Now, you see the magnet holes appear. There they are. Now, as you can see, they've got something inside them. That's supports. So what you can do is, come back to global over here, set your supports to, of course I'm using the beta version of the software and they've moved everything around. On build plate only. Enable support, even though it's showing supports anyway. On build plate only, and that will only put them on the outside of the model, not on the inside. So if we reslice that, there we go. 2 holes with no supports or infills. So what it would do, you would print your model, okay, until about this point where you've got 2 holes available. On here, right click, add a pause. Okay, so your printer will pause here. It won't do anything until you put the 2 magnets in, face down, make sure they're the right way. 2 magnets in, and then continue the print, and as you can see on the next layer, it covers them up and continues to finish off the model. And that is basically all there is to it. I've probably made it sound more complicated than it needs to be honest. But it's not difficult once you get the hang of it. The only issue I found is the model popping up off the build plate as I showed you. But you can easily drag that back down again. That will print a model with a perfectly flat back and 2 magnets buried just below the surface, so you can stick it to your fridge or whatever you like. And that is a completely free way of doing it. There's no subscription needed for AI, model generation, nothing like that. And I think that's the only way I found of doing it free. But as I said, if you do know any other ways, if you know of any other methods of putting the magnets in, please let me know in the comments and I'll make a follow-up video. But I hope that was easy to follow and I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe because it helps the algorithm, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.